No, now,
Yes,
Right,
I
you
have
need them
it.
anyways, right?
okay,
I
so,
have it right here if you wait a
it's
second.
okay, it's okay.
Yeah, I was, the other one says 5.
Actually, I have it right here.
It's 5:10, I've called the meeting to order.
Oh, this is the old one.
Yeah, but
It's in the bottom
that's
of my
okay.
file. Same agenda.
It's okay, yeah. That's okay, so, fine, yeah. All right,
Pocket
so
openings.
consider adjustments to the agenda. Do we have any? I don't think so.
The only difference between these two is 4A is not on today's agenda.
Discussion of best practice in the office? No, because that's
So it's
already
only
being worked
audit
on.
and next steps are the two things on.
Yep.
On it.
Next steps,
It's just
yeah.
audit and next steps.
So that's
all
our
it says.
adjustment.
Maybe a discussion of questions that we want
Right, should we,
answered to.
what, could we add that and use that in next steps?
Yeah,
That would be next
part of
step.
next
Next steps
Is-
that come out, things that come out of the discussion on questions, yeah.
Right.
Let's see, so communications and public comment, does anybody have
You are live, just to let you know.
What's that, we're live?
Yeah, in case you might say something you don't want to
Gee,
say.
that's, I appreciate that, yeah, but you're here anyway, so I still might want to say some things, even if you weren't here.
15-second delay.
Yeah, I
that's nice.
understand.
Correct
So-
it.
So when I
correct it
say
real
the
quick.
F word, you can roll it back.
Yeah, you have to say, I didn't mean that.
Yes.
Do we need an executive session? Should that be on there?
Maybe.
We could add that as 6 if we needed an executive session.
I gotta add that as 5.
And
We
then-
have to, oh yeah, I'm sorry, duh, because 5 is adjournment, yes, okay, so that's 6, all right, got it. Thank you, Jessa. All right, so under the topic of new business for discussion and action, I would probably, well, it says audit recommendations, I guess I would ask you how it's been going with RHR Smith.
Yeah, as far as going with RHR Smith, if you,
No, I mean, what they've been doing, they're already still working in the office, plus they're doing additional work.
yeah, currently right now, they're working on their, we
They're-
prioritize that.
Yeah.
They need to do everything in the business office to make sure that everything's done, so we get the audit done.
Regular audit done, yeah.
Right, in the process of getting what needs to be done in the business office caught up in regards to the audit, that'll help us get caught up in a lot of different areas as well.
Mm-hmm, of course.
So we have Cindy McDonald and, or is it Miranda McDonald and Cindy from RHR Smith,
Right,
who are assisting the business office in getting us caught up for the audit. And then once the audit is complete, we have all the information, everything we need to complete the audit, we will then continue to move forward with the restructuring and efficiency of the business office, which right now it's happened simultaneously.
right.
When the auditors aren't here, you have Cindy and Miranda are here helping out the business office with everything from generating spreadsheets for negotiations to, the different things that we need to. And they've been also meeting with the various individuals in each department to help get a feel of when we start talking about the bigger changes and efficiencies and procedures, what we need to set up procedures. They've already had those conversations.
Okay.
They met today, they were meeting most of the day with Miranda in regards to the accountant piece, and they're already looking at procedures that need to be put in place, either because they are so far outdated, they need to be updated, or put procedures in place because they were never
Because there
there.
weren't any, okay,
So they've already started working on that.
okay,
And like I said before, I believe I shared with all of you in regards to the changes I made since the last meeting in regards to personnel changes in regards to the different departments and reallocating resources, bodies into that office to get stuff done.
okay. Okay, so there's some of that in the WNESU central office flow chart you've got here.
Most of it is, what I just said is all of it's in there.
Mhm.
And I have another one I've already continued to update and add to because there were some more stuff today that we
Discovery,
Yep. And I
okay,
think the other stuff that I found out today is that we'll probably need to go into executive session for that.
okay. All right, plus there's, okay, go ahead.
Well, I just have a question about the audit. So RHR Smith, as it sits right now with the information they have, they can't complete the audit. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're working
Okay.
on,
Okay,
for instance, we're working on right now Westminster, Athens and Grafton. Bank reconciliations have been completed for them. high school and the SU, they've completed them up to January. So that's the first thing, we gotta work on all the reconciliations. When that's done, they can complete the audit.
So they have all the information they need, or at least it's available. Okay.
Yeah, and they're working with the office now, so they're able to get that information.
Yeah.
And that was our first
Okay.
priority, is making sure the stuff that needs to get done to have the audit completed is
Right.
done. Once that's done, then it's, full force.
Did you
into-
say they weren't, when you did mention was Rockingham's not reconciled yet? Right, you said Athens, Grafton,
Yeah, let me see
Westminster,
it.
High
Just pull
School,
up my notes.
and the SU. So that would leave
Let me see.
I would leave Rockingham.
So
Rockingham.
today, let's see. Confirmation that the bank reconciliations for Westminster, Athens, and Grafton have been done for the year. Rockingham, Bellows Falls Union High School, and SU were done through July.
through
And
July.
some of them,
Okay.
through January.
Through January.
And so, some of them may be a little further than January, but they've all been done for January, and they're already moving forward for the rest of it, so we're very close.
January 2020, right.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Okay, so I thought they were doing, their audit was the one from last year, the 2019.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
The
Which would
reconciliations for
only be
2019, they've got them done up to January of 2019, the reconciliations.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, see, so they haven't done,
So they haven't
The
done
rest of 2019
February
yet.
to June?
Right,
Right.
now they're gonna, well, I mean, they've got, right, so they have to finish the rest of that. They've got all the other, like I said, Westminster, Athens, and Grafton done. They're,
okay,
they've
They're
had
done
them all
till
up
the
to
end of June.
January, but some of them are further along than that.
January 2019, and they have to finish the rest. They can't do the audit until they get done with
Right.
June 30th, 2019.
Correct.
Right, for all of them.
Okay, because their audit only
Right.
goes through the end of June.
Right, so, but the auditors, they know that, and that's why we're getting extra help to get that done.
Okay.
And again, just a question for clarification, what we're talking about are independent audits for Westminster, Athens and Grafton combined, the high school, Rockingham, and the supervisory union,
Yeah.
so that it's multiple audits.
The multiple audits under the annual audits we have to do twice a year.
Uh-huh,
That's what we're talking about here, is those audits here. It's not something separate that we kind of try to procure the services of RHR for everything else that's going on. This is just the annual audits they do twice a year.
Yeah, July 1, 2019, oh, actually, I'm sorry, July 1, 2018,
18.
Yep.
through June 30th, 2019.
Correct.
right, correct.
And that means that's only the unified transitional Grafton Athens, right? Because they existed.
No,
as
no,
of
because
July
last year it
1.
wasn't like that, so it's still broken up.
It's
as
still
a
It's
separate.
separate.
broken up?
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
still
Didn't-
separate.
Yeah, that was
We
July
think of
1,
it-
2019, right? That's when the new unified
So 20, I guess it was 2019.
19.
Okay.
And they
so
do the
this
previous,
is-
they do the
right,
previous
so that
fiscal
is-
year.
So next year it'll be the Wyndham
Right.
Northeast Union's
The
elementary
unified
school.
rights. For
Right,
Too many
July
letters.
1.
I'm trying to remember how long we've been at this.
Yeah,
Right,
Just-
exactly.
it seems like longer than a year, yeah.
But a point to make here is that, for example, and I'm sure this happened at Athens Grafton as well, it was reported at the Westminster Town Meeting last Saturday that the audit was not complete.
Yes,
No,
we
it's not
have the
complete.
same.
And
That's
so
accurate.
they're getting close, is what you're saying,
Mhm.
and we need the taxpayers to know that it should be
Yeah,
coming.
if half a year
Yeah.
done, they'll.
Yep, meet with the auditors on a regular basis in regards to where we are. They'll be back on Friday,
Okay.
and with the help of, on the off days with Miranda and Cindy helping, we finally have the boots on the ground, do what needs to be done to get us caught up and get the audit done.
Can I
Oh.
ask why
Yeah.
why it wasn't done like right after the end of the school year? Right after June last summer, why it wasn't done at that time? Because this has put us way behind.
I would have thought, my understanding was that the business office had to do the reconciliations. I mean, they do their own, and then the auditors go back through them, but those were not getting done, is what you're
But
trying to say.
those had to
without
get,
saying.
were supposed to be
Okay.
done
They weren't done.
by either the end of July or in
Right.
August.
So they
They
weren't,
have to be done for the state by that time, so it seems to me this,
I couldn't give you an exact answer of why. What I'm assuming is that with everything going on in the business office, this was more of that collateral damage that
Yeah.
was being done between the new
Probably.
finance software,
Trying to
change
figure
of
out,
personnel in the
When are
office.
they usually done? Because I know.
I don't think we don't normally,
Well-
usually it takes a couple months for the year to close, for them to get roll all
Because
the
we
bills
don't get
and
all of
everything.
our, our state money doesn't show up, like some of the grant money and stuff, I
Till
know
like
doesn't show up till like
September,
September,
yeah.
August, September
Yeah,
for the year prior. So I'm assuming normally they can't start until that's
After that.
done anyway, I would think. But
so
I'm
when
not sure.
the auditors start coming in here, I mean, in the municipality, they usually start somewhere around October. But when do they usually start here?
I'm trying, here, they usually they came in I wanna think probably mid to end, I wanna say January.
Okay, they wanna give us plenty of time to get that, because you can't close your books.
Right, and I think Edie had said that there's certain state
It
monies.
doesn't happen till like September.
That it's
Yeah,
like
I know,
3 months
the meetings.
after the close date when we
Well, here
actually
they're here
get the
twice a year
money,
at the beginning of the
so,
year, and then
Okay.
back in the
Yeah.
spring, so
Okay.
there's not just one single audit, we
right,
do 2 a year, so,
Right, it's quite sizable,
yeah.
multiple entities, so.
okay,
And
so
so
it's not,
there's
we're
that
not
part.
that far behind, I don't think.
Yeah, we have. No, but it would be
Yeah, we are.
nice if we could encourage them to
Well-
be a little earlier so that we
Yeah.
had some of that information in looking at our budgets and stuff.
Well, I think, I mean,
The end of the year,
trying
I
to
think, is
anticipate
the-
why this, and, try to figure out why this happened like I did.
Yeah,
I checked with the auditors, in the 10 years that Edie's been doing this is the first year. She set a stellar record in regards to
It's been
getting
like that.
everything done.
Yeah.
It's just been that kind of year.
Yeah,
I mean,
Alright.
I asked them, their track record is stellar in regards to having the audits done twice a year.
Yeah.
This year, it's just,
well, that answers my question about where we are with having the entire calendar year cleared, which clearly not. And who knows when it's actually going to get to that point. My request is to find out, to make sure that everything balanced. And until you do the bank reconciliations for every month, you don't know that.
right, and so the audit's gonna show
So,
that to us.
and
so
they're gonna
that's the
get to June
process.
30, so, of
Yep.
2019, but that means that Teresa or someone will have to do the recs for July, August through the end of 2019 to see where we are. Just
Right.
as a double check, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
see if anything turns up.
right.
Because
And
that's kind of more of what we're looking at.
I know it is, yes,
Right.
this committee
This
is
is
looking
where
for that,
we need.
but we don't know when that's gonna happen. At
And
this point, they're halfway done with the audit year.
Yep.
That's it.
Right, and I think, like Chris said, I think the first one, normally it has to be done by the end of the calendar year.
Mhm.
And they usually come back in March or April to start the
Yes.
spring, so they're
Uh-huh.
gonna be here right
For-
through.
yeah, considering this
Yeah,
one.
I think everyone's keep in mind that in education, there are 2 audits that are get done, beginning of the
Yeah.
year and towards
Yeah, I
the
didn't
spring
know
and the
that.
middle of the year.
Yeah.
So the first part of the year, the audit's been done. Now we're talking because of last year. So now
Right.
we're talking, we're getting from that point to now. And then, once those audits are done,
It's
what
time
Deb
for
is
the-
saying is that then it's up to the business office
Yeah.
to reconcile the stuff after the audits have. So when the auditors come in again in the fall, they have that information of the reconciliations that the business office did. That's the information they need to start the fall audit again.
Right, but they're gonna be here for the spring audit as soon
They're
as
here
they're
now.
done
Yeah, they're here,
with this one, they'll just start.
Well, this is the fall audit.
This is the fall audit,
So
and
we
it's
have
time
a-
for the spring
The
audit,
spring audit to
so,
start,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're working on their second audit of this year.
so they're already working on this
Well, no,
spring.
because they're not working, their
I thought they
spring
hadn't
audit would
finished
be,
out.
which should be, July till December probably.
Yeah, those are, I'm gonna have to,
So we're
not being a
behind.
business administrator, I'd have to ask the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah,
timeline of the audits, where they start, where they stop for each,
Right.
for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
cycle, because I would only be guessing if I give you answers now,
Yeah.
and that would
No,
be-
we get that, so that's a
No, I
question, no,
think-
that's a different question.
I think
Yeah.
I'm happy with the status of the audit
Yeah.
timeline.
We have, the information from, you gave us a copy of the letter that you sent, you talked to Ricky, and what he's
Yeah.
doing as far as the tech is all going, for
Yep.
their parts, which,
The-
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and like I said, and we'll get into that, we should go into executive
Yes,
session.
exactly.
Yeah.
also what about the technology update 3320?
I think
Oh.
some of that,
The technology update, that would, I think right now, based with everything that's still open, that would probably be executive.
Okay, just want to
Yeah,
cover that,
'cause
and
it's
that also includes the attorney
dated.
letter as well,
Yes,
definitely. There's a nice article here on rebuilding trust with your community.
Yeah, I came across that, last night around 2 a.m.
Which of course, we haven't had a chance to read, so we'll,
But it's good information because, I mean, that talk
Oh, yeah.
about, it just general, there's some stuff in there that really, is very
Thank you.
appropriate to what we're dealing with and
Mm-hmm.
wanting to work on trust with the community and everything, so.
So do we have any next steps for open session?
at this point. I think we'd probably be better off if we went into executive session and then before our meeting is over, have you back in
Yeah.
to see if we have anything else to say before our meeting ends. And then the next meeting begins, so. So let's see, I'd like a motion to go into executive session to discuss matters that would clearly hamper
It's,
the board if brought into the public.
yeah, and I like to be specific on executive sessions,
Uh-huh.
so for Susie Small here.
Well, see, I have
It's,
I have one.
data security, which is
Yeah.
a security issue, and attorney communication.
Community, yeah, attorney-client privileges, yeah.
Would be the motion I make to move into executive session for those two things.
A second? Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion before, all right? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are now in executive session at 5:30.
You wanna stay in here? Yeah.
As long as
That
he-
works.
we're out of executive
We're out of
session, yes, you're
executive
good.
session.
So we are working
We're
on
not
picking a
saying much,
date.
we're just looking for a date.
It looks,
Okay.
yeah, it looks like we're going to go with the 25th of March in order to give time for some of these things to become ripe, right? And that'll be probably just before our next SU meeting this month.
So 5 or 5:30?
So let's say 5 like today,
Okay.
just to give us the time, because usually the SU meeting's at 6:30, and that way if we hang over like we did, we'll be good. Is there any other business to come before the committee?
You want to state no action was taken?
And no
Yeah.
action was taken, that's right, for the camera. No action was taken when coming out of executive session. Hearing no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second?
Either one of us second, one of us. was-
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 We are out. All right, and then we're just in time, 10 minutes for a break if you need one before the next meeting. What's on here? Oh, yeah.
We've got a few minutes.
And
Yeah, I gotta run and see.
I'm hoping they get the bugs worked out of the new website.
I don't
I went to
know.
go pull stuff. I didn't necessarily think you wanted to
Evidently,
get a call in.
evidently she called my home, but I leave my house about 6 o'clock in the morning, and by the time I get home, I'm not returning phone calls.
Hey, Dave.
Well, I've been up at River Valley Tech Center. It's my regular first Wednesday of the month meeting.
Because I was gonna say,
Dave.
sitting at the table,
Mr. Clark,
if you had any-
you're on live tonight, all
You just
right?
don't know.
On what?
You're live tonight.
Live.
Right now?
Well, I just turned you on, yeah.
No, I just
No
wanted to
kidding.
make sure you had it.
Let me see what time it
You
is.
got it done right away.
6:26.
Well, 6:25, I
We're
think.
early.
I can turn it.
Well, we start at
live.
6:30.
Okay.
Were you here for Deb's
Feels
committee
like a
meeting?
very
Hmm?
big chair for me, but.
Here for Deb's committee meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then he
great.
left while we went to executive session.
That means it'll be comfy.
Yes, it feels like
Yeah, you know,
I'm swallowed in this big chair.
Pile of belongings.
I don't know, it's not mine.
no idea.
It's Jesse, she's just sitting in the one.
She's just taking 2 chairs. We got some awful big chairs here in this.
These are the most uncomfortable chairs
I
in
do
town.
feel a little
Yeah,
small in the
noise.
chair
She needs a phone book.
Hey, Jason.
Rick?
How are you?
Good, you?
Be happier if I was home, but
I'll tell a new member that.
I know. I'd rather be straight up. We've been spending way too much time at this lately.
Yes, we have. Seen way too much of you people.
And we still have negotiations to do.
When's the next one?
Yeah.
Next week, next
Next
Wednesday.
week.
Yeah, and the
Thursday.
9th, right? Yeah.
There's a
For
meeting
the high
Monday
school.
the 9th,
Is it Monday? Monday? Oh,
a committee meeting.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. The
That's
9th.
right, yeah.
Absolutely.
See, too many
Hold on,
meetings.
let me get
Yeah.
your phone.
I'm still in February because I think February the 9th was a Wednesday, right?
Might have been, yeah, looks right now.
March 9. What is it?
802-233-2013.
Fine.
Okay.
That's where it's going to flow because I'm in Tennessee because my son gets off from VA.
Oh, yeah?
By Jim.
Yep, yeah, that's spring break for my daughter too,
I
that week.
watched your one last year, but I participated when you did Stephen's that way last year, so I thought, yes.
We're new to this. So, automatically, yeah.
Okay, I sent her a note because she would need to get sworn in officially.
Yeah,
Anyone else need an agenda?
spread out.
Yes.
I do, please.
They get all the
Here?
signatures.
Oh, you mean to read the meeting? Oh,
Anyone else need an agenda?
I
Okay,
have
so she automatically is
I
on.
enjoy
Yeah.
it, and I think
Well,
it's my
she's-
together.
Oh, yeah,
Chair.
since I'm already
Tomorrow.
Okay, because she's laid up for a little impromptu for certain.
Yeah, no, I was
You
very
know,
good.
our client steps out, he can take
Once in a while.
whenever. Okay.
So I must do
Okay,
Maybe I should go home, because we don't this morning.
all right. Good, thank you.
Thank you, I really appreciate
I would
it.
rather one less meeting.
And then you got a packet
I put them out.
Yesterday it was on,
Put them online again.
and then it was off. So it must have been recording.
She didn't. She didn't. No, we have 2 Jasons now. We have Jason Benson and Jason Terry.
greatly appreciated this.
Yep.
I have my card.
Yep.
This important.
I don't either. I don't know. I never met Jason until yesterday. This Jason. So,
It'll work, it'll work.
1 minute.
yep. And you work for
Yeah,
Town of
it said
Westminster.
Pauline.
Yes. Yep.
And Representative Rutherford.
I live in Rockland. Yeah, well, that was the thing. It was,
I looked at it.
I think he got 100 votes. The other Jason got
See, that's where past, present, and future all live.
68. Margot got
It's not linear.
58 or
It's not linear, exactly. I just asked your phone.
Hello,
Okay,
Yeah, if
thank
you
you.
sign up for a write-in like the morning of the election. Yeah, it was a good run.
I am new.
No Jack this evening?
Well, yeah, that was after she didn't realize there was.
She didn't just
Oh,
realize it, but her and I were talking about it for a while,
Good
because when she actually looked at the ballot or something and saw.
Okay.
Going down.
But he don't.
thank
And he calls me dramatic when I do.
Yeah.
It's 6:30, is Fact TV ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to call us to order at 6:30. This is the special meeting of the Wyndham Northeast Supervisory Union Board. We're up on Cherry Hill, the superintendent's office. I believe the address is 25 Cherry Street. And let's go around the table and make introductions. Could you start, please, Lynn?
Lynn Morgan, I'm with the Athens Town Board, the Athens Grafton School.
Rick Holloway, Rockingham School Board.
Jessa West Clark, I'm from the Forced Merger Transitional Board of Athens, Grafton, and Westminster.
Cheryl Charles, I'm also with that forcibly merged board representing Westminster.
Deborah Wright. Am I the vice chair here? I think so. And to be at Rockingham Bellas Falls Union High School representative.
David Clark, I represent Westminster on the Union High School Board.
Chris Pratt, superintendent.
Priscilla Lambert, I'm a representative from the Rockingham Board.
Jason Benson, I'm a representative from the Rockingham School Board.
Charles Chase, I'm from the Athens School Board.
My name's Josh Aberman, I'm the board recorder.
We'd like to have hands for voting members tonight.
I'm appointing, I am still the chair of the Rockingham Board, so I'm appointing Jason to take Kristen's place until we have our reorganization of the team.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Jason. Well, all right. Do we have adjustments to the agenda, Superintendent Pratt?
I do not.
Okay. Communications and public comment, and I see fan presentation here. Is there a presentation? Okay. We're not aware of a presentation. Are there communication and public comment from anyone?
I don't know if this is the right time to ask, but I read in the paper last week about the 403B contributions for teachers, and that we had received some money that was, how do we know? I have not received anything. I've called Ameritrade twice, and I'm just wondering what that process, are we going to be notified, other than reading it in the paper?
No, the funds were transferred. You're talking about the possible losses that could have
Yes.
incurred.
Yeah.
The money was transferred to Ameritrade TD, and they're to disperse it out within I think there were 8 people who saw a gain from the report. And we've been told that if you have specific questions about your account, that you contact them and speak to one of their advisors, because everyone's different.
And their answer to that is that I called Teresa at our office. Twice, I was on the phone with them Friday and today, just trying to get, an answer.
You can call Teresa because they have the information in regards to, just the spreadsheet that Ameritrade gave us that says these are the gains, these are the losses for each individual employee. I would call Joellen, she has that information. So she can tell you where you were a loss or a gain.
So it's up to each person to call the office, it's not gonna be sent out, or
No, because the spreadsheet we have Ameritrade lists everyone's names on it. And so we can't just distribute that to the general, NEA for that. But, I've asked the question many times and I've been told that if people have questions again about their individual 403 account, they should contact one of the advisors at Ameritrade TD to get how much was your gain, how much was your losses. But if you want that information right away, Joellen has that you can call her and she can tell you.
okay, but their
where you
answer
fell.
is to turn it right back and contact my district.
Right, so I'm saying call Joellen, she can tell you for you exactly what your losses or gains were for that, because that money has already been transferred to Ameritrade. There was a total of
Ameritrade, it hasn't,
there was a total of $71 and some cents. $719 total of gains. The average gain was around $2. So if you reach out to Joellen, she will tell you exactly what your losses or gains were, because the money was transferred to a Ameritrade account last week.
I just want to make a point. We're already under communication and public comment, Rhonda, so you're certainly welcome to have that participation. There will be another opportunity for participation at the end of this agenda because we have an item on, it's our item number 7 called Questions and Answers. So if any questions should, if you're willing to stick around, and any questions occur to you during the course of the meeting, well, we'll see if we have the answers. Okay, we're still under communication and public comment. All right then. Then I would like to entertain a motion to go into executive session. It says here superintendent's evaluation, but the purpose is to discuss superintendent's contract. I'd like to be clear about that. Can I have a motion, please? Okay. And you're a voting member tonight, Lynn?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'll make a
All
motion,
right.
make a motion, we go into executive session to discuss a contractual matter which may or may not have adverse effects for either party.
Oh, all right, and I have a second from Priscilla. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, is anyone opposed? I imagine for the benefit of Fact TV and anybody else who cares, this will be a fairly brief session. I don't anticipate it going longer than 20 minutes. All right.
Okay, it's on.
Okay, it's on. All right, so we're back in open session at 7 o'clock. We're going to take no action on the contract request, which is item 5A. We're up to 5B, which is review advice of counsel regarding depositions. I have a handout. 2, 3. A couple over here. And we'll send a few down here.
I have one already. Okay. Yes, I do.
David, this
Go
is
find
a
it.
result of the motion from the last time, is that?
We already have,
It is a
yeah, you
result.
have that, yeah.
I guess it is a result of the motion. I'm going to hang on to it for just a minute because I would actually okay. Lin, Blackman, and Manitsky dated March 3rd. Mr. David Clark, Chair, Wyndham Northeast Supervisory Union, regarding Williams investigation. Dear David, you asked me to respond to a recent email from you about deposing employees in connection with an investigation that the supervisory union wishes to undertake. You also asked me to describe the rights that employees may have in connection with that investigation. Please consider this to be my response. Depositions are typically taken in litigated cases. Here, none has been filed. Instead, we are engaging in investigation. The investigation will include interviews of employees, which may be audio recorded. The recordings can be transcribed if the board wishes. I presume that at this point, the board would like my firm to conduct the investigation. We can do that. The information gathered and any report generated may be subject to the attorney-client privilege. Of course, if the board wishes to waive the privilege, it may do so. It is not unusual for a school district to undertake an investigation where there are concerns about misconduct by one or more employees. All employees must participate in the investigation. If they do not, they may be subject to discipline up to and including termination. If union employees face possible discipline for misconduct, we must permit them to have union representation at the investigatory review. I believe the business office is at will, Chris?
Correct.
Okay. The only other rights that employees may have in connection with our investigation is if they face criminal exposure for misconduct. The employees may raise constitutional objections to answering questions. There is a right to avoid providing evidence against oneself. If the employees invoke the constitutional right, the employer may utilize the Garrity case to compel responses to questions. That case requires employees to answer questions even if there is criminal exposure. The information provided to the employer may not be used in any subsequent criminal proceeding. We have the documents necessary to compel cooperation under Garrity. It is important that in conducting an investigation, that the investigator be polite and respectful. If our firm is going, we will schedule interviews for appropriate times and with notice. However, employees must cooperate with the supervisory union's efforts. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Is there anybody who doesn't have a copy? Okay. I think that the board needs to understand this. I don't believe that points of law are privileged matters, which is why I have delivered the message here in open session. The item 5B says review advice of counsel regarding depositions. It's listed as an action item because at our last meeting we took a motion to require depositions. You now have an opinion from council that depositions are not the way to go at this stage. So I would very much like to find out if this board wants to essentially change its mind. A motion might be to rescind the request for depositions and conduct investigations as per the advice of council. If we get off of what I would consider to be the public's business, which is taking a motion, and we need to discuss staff, then I think that I would like to hear a motion go back into executive session so we can discuss staff. So, what's your pleasure? Priscilla?
Since I made the motion last time, I would make a motion that at this time, we use investigations rather than depositions by Lynn, Blackman, and Manetsky.
I want to ask you if you would consider prefacing your motion upon advice of council.
And with the advice of council, yes.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Okay, Charles has the second.
Point of order.
Yes.
The motion doesn't take action. The motion simply says we're just swapping the word depositions for
I
investigations.
move that.
So we should rescind the last motion, is that right?
Do we have to rescind it or just replace it with that at this time?
I'm not a parliamentarian. I'll take it either way. I think the board's intent would be clear.
I'm simply saying that the motion that you're making doesn't give us any action. It doesn't say the board wants the council to go forward with investigations.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right,
It
it
doesn't
sounded like all
say-
you're doing is changing the
Okay.
word.
Changing words.
Okay,
Exactly.
let me.
But you
okay.
can make action to.
But the original one was
Right.
to direct the superintendent to engage with legal counsel to take depositions. So at this point, I would move that we direct the superintendent to engage with legal counsel to take investigations rather than depositions at this time.
And that was upon advice of legal
And
counsel.
upon advice of counsel.
And you're,
Someone seconded.
yes, Charles seconded. You're good with the, okay, so Charles second we have. Now we're under discussion. It's gracious. All right then. Ready for the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, well that went quickly. We are under unfinished business for discussion and action. Update on business office matters. Do we want to move to executive session for this, Chris?
I can, we can start an open session in regards to some of the load changes and duties.
Okay,
and
that would be good if we can do that.
To elaborate on some further stuff, I would request an executive
Okay.
session.
Go.
So, this has been some, based on trying to move the business department in a more efficient way, and I've had some, I made some changes in regards to the duties of some of the different areas. As of right now, Teresa Taylor will be moving from accounts and payroll to active business manager due to Elu Cole, our current business manager, is out on FMLA medical leave. And so, also, Joellen Barton, who was hired to replace Rhonda as the payroll clerk in human resources, will continue her duties there. I will be adding Nicole Barnett, removing her from full-time office reception to part-time payroll clerk in human resources and part-time receptionist. She'll be working with Joellen in the payroll and human resources office. Marlene Lounge, who is currently the accounts payable, professional development requisitions approval, and grant requisitions approval. She will now be accounts payable only. I will be moving the professional development requisitions away from Marlene Lounge, and between Missy Wilkins and myself, we'll be continuing to work on the professional development requisitions. Dr. Carey, the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Grants, will take over the grant requisitions for the grants, because we're looking to move in that direction anyways, because it makes more sense to have less steps. And then Shauna Cotto, who does the work for food services and special ed grants and accounts as well. involving looking over timesheets in the special ed office will be put back into those. Let me back that up a little bit. Right now, Shauna does work for special ed and food services. Any work that she does with special ed has been put back into the special ed office in regards to that, and she will be working on the food services piece. That should free up some of her time to work with the business office from other matters, as well as Marlene Lounge. It will free up some of her time to be working with some of the other issues that are going on in the business office. In addition to that, we have RHR Smith, who is also working for us, as they're the ones doing the auditing. They will also be working with us, and they have been on the off days of the audit, of working with the business office as with all these transitions. They're also lending a helping hand of getting the business office caught up in regards to the current audit that's underway. And also, I've reached out to see if I can get a mentor to come in and work with Teresa as she transitions to currently as acting business manager, and she continues to transition to permanent business manager. We did have a few interviews yesterday for replacing the position of staff accountant, as we were planning on doing that anyways in lieu of all this, so there'd be a transition before the end of the year. We interviewed 2 people yesterday, and we're hoping to interview more in the future. But with the assistance from RHR Smith in their work, they will also be helping with working with Teresa and the new payroll clerk in their new positions. So we're not taking away any time that Teresa or anyone else has in the office to train them. We'll have people in the building, boots on the ground, to do that. So currently that's where we are since last week in regards to moving forward with a more efficient business office and practices. I met with them today. We're already well underway in regards to looking at our current procedures that we have in the business office. And the reason for doing that is that there are procedures that need to be updated, and there are procedures that need to be created, period, because they have not been in place at all. So we're underway with that, and I will continue to update you as things continue to change in the business office. So that's what I have right now for public session. Any further information I need to give an executive session.
Let me just ask you a question, Chris. Would I be correct in saying that we do not anticipate any action to be taken as a result of that executive session?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. I'm asking that question because we're down to 2 of my favorites. Questions and answers and director's comments. And once we wade through that, then I would like to entertain a motion to go into executive session. Are there any additional questions that would like answers? Rhonda, anything?
Yes. I'm just curious, you mentioned that Edie Cole was out on medical leave. Will she be returning before her retirement date?
I'm not sure at this point.
Thank you.
Anything else possibly on TD Ameritrade or any other topic? How about Vermont Digger? Okay, all right. Well, directors' comments. Start us off, Deb, would you please?
No, I have nothing. Let's see.
Cheryl?
I actually don't have anything additional right now, but thank you.
Jessa?
The only thing I have, and it's not pertinent, but I did tell a member of the public that emailed us about the Union Elementary, and I did say I would remind the chair if she hadn't got an answer today, and she did not get an answer today.
And
Yes, sure.
I know this is a special session, but I neglected to mention that I've been hearing from the public questions about our response to the coronavirus, and just wondered if we could address that at some point.
I would like to suspend the rules and ask the superintendent if he would comment on that, since we're under director's comments.
Absolutely. No, thanks for bringing that up. What I did just pass around to all of the board members is what I had posted on the website, and I also distributed to all administrators so that can go home to students. And I'm anticipating all this information that I gave all of you tonight, and that's on the website. Parents will be receiving it by the end of the week. And what you're seeing is really, it's a combination of two. Being read on the New Hampshire and Vermont line, the first few pages of the information and the documents that you see were put out from the Vermont Department of Health. The other, when you get to review of CDC guidance for businesses and employees, actually one more page, additional procedures for WNASU. These procedures here were shared with me from what Keene, New Hampshire had put in place in regards to procedures for the COVID-19, the coronavirus. And the public should be aware is that we're putting this out to be proactive. Hopefully we'll never have to use them and put them in place, but it was important enough that the community understand that we are aware of the situation, we are taking it very seriously, not knowing, you know, how far this can go, and that what you see online and what you get home, please take time to go through and click on the different links within the posting that is on the website, because there's a lot of great resources there for families in the community. And, you know, and this is something we all know is changing on a daily basis, but just know is that as of right now, the schools are fine. There's no cases in Wyndham Northeast. This is just preventative in regards to infectious diseases that we want to keep in front of. And it's always nice to be proactive when we spend so much time being reactive. So that's all this is. But the public will be getting the same information that are passed out tonight, and it's on the website. All families should be getting that information by the end of the week on Friday.
Thank you, Chris. Does that cover your topic, Cheryl?
Maybe one additional related question. I'm hearing that other school districts nearby are preparing actually instructional packages and such to send home in case there were a school closure, and wondered whether if we have any plans.
Yeah, yes, and if you look at the second page, that kind of goes in.
I don't have it yet.
Yeah, if you look in here under additional procedures, it kind of covers everything through, you know, if someone does go on vacation, it comes back, or, you know, if we come across that, we find that we have been infected in the area, it does go through, in general terms, the procedures that we would like to follow just to keep everybody safe. So it's just pretty much an overall awareness that we all want to be on the same page as we continue to go through the uncertainties of what direction this is going. So that is in there.
Thank you very much.
David, just on that, I'm assuming that because this is general and this is taken from the state, and as you said from Keene,
Yep.
that maybe it will be kind of a little more specific to our district. For example, designating somebody to be liaisons, you'll probably let us know who was appointed.
Well, each school,
and maybe
well, that's been done already. I've already
specific
done that. Each school administrator had been appointed as that point of contact person along with myself, so we already have to do that in place. And keep in mind is that so the packet of information that went home, that other districts sent home, this is that packet, Cheryl, that you're talking about. In regards to protocols and procedures, the Vermont safety guides, they have forms and checklists for infectious diseases that we can follow. So that's part of the emergency protocols anyways, that we already have that information from the state, and it's there so we know how to react and who to call. So, you know, as far as procedures, but I think as we move forward with this document here should be a fluid document where we can make changes that make more sense to our community and our schools. But for right now, I think this is a starting point, and if things continue to develop, then we will have to go back, and I will go back with the administrators to continue to develop policies that are, and procedures that are more specific for each school community. Even with our own SU, there are going to be uniquenesses for them, so we want to keep in mind that this is a work in progress, but the big item is that we want the community to know that Wyndham Northeast is taking it seriously, and we're preparing as much as we can as the situation develops.
Thank you, and that was exactly what I wanted to hear.
Okay, Rick?
I'd like to welcome Jason to our board. I'm excited that we ended up with 2 new people to fill the empty seats that we had on the Rockingham School Board. It's a new time with Priscilla and George just completing their first year, so it's going to be an interesting row, and I'm ready for another year, I guess.
Thanks for picking up there. Molly?
All set, thank you.
All set.
Charles? Jason?
Nothing at this time.
Priscilla?
I just wanted to thank the superintendent for all the new procedures that he's putting into effect for the business office, and looking forward to that helping straighten out any things that have been occurring.
Okay, I now would like to entertain a motion to go into executive session for the discussion of business office personnel and invite administration to attend. Have a motion, please.
So made.
A second?
Second.
Okay. We've moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
Will there be any action?
We do not anticipate action.
All right. If you give me a couple minutes to wrap up.
We can do that.